We still don't have an answer to a pretty important question. Why is Kamala Harris even the nominee and not the guy that actually won the Democratic primary by millions of votes? Is that a threat to democracy? Tonight, during an interview, Kamala still could not answer that question. Take a look.
Can you say that you were honest with the American people about what you saw in those moments with President Biden as you were with him again and again, repeatedly in that time?
Of course. Joe Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
And you never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely.
But that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket.
Well, you'd have to ask him if that's the only reason why.
What do you think?
I am running for president of the United States. Joe Biden is not.
Here now with reaction, Harris poll chairman Mark Penn is with us, former senior advisor to President Trump, Stephen Miller, the host of Outkick. Tomi Lahren is fearless, the ever so fearless Tomi Lahren. Good to see you all. Tomi, start with you. All right, your reaction to all of it. This to me is their closing argument. They sound desperate, they're acting desperate, and they can't answer the question where they have been successful, how they improved the country. That to me is a problem.
And Kamala is also visibly agitated and angry and hostile when she's asked or she's pressed even the slightest bit by her friends in the mainstream media. I will also say this. Not only are they reeking of desperation, when you hear and the polls are telling you that you're hemorrhaging black men and you're hemorrhaging Hispanic support, you decide, or your campaign decides, the best way to navigate that is to put Liz Cheney out on the campaign trail as if that is going to somehow win you back black and Hispanic support. I mean, her campaign team, they should be sued for malpractice at this point. I would assume that she had some pretty excellent folks on that team, but perhaps I was wrong. But Sean, listen, the polls are exciting if you're a Trump supporter or a Republican. You and I are always cautiously optimistic. We tread very lightly in getting overly excited because the red wave in 2022 was just a pink splash. But I'll tell you this is why I'm encouraged, because in 2020 and in the 2022 midterms, the Democrats had two luxuries that they do not enjoy now. They always had bad candidates. In 2020, certainly a bad candidate, but they had the luxury of mastering the logistics of elections. They could get out the vote. They had the early voting down, the mail-in voting, the ballot harvesting where it was legal. So they had that luxury. But now Republicans are closing that gap because Republicans are getting in the game. We love to see it. And the second luxury that they don't have is that people don't have the luxury themselves right now of just simply voting on their hatred for Donald Trump. So they keep trying to peddle this Donald Trump's a dictator. Donald Trump is all three dictators in one. Well, if the country was going well under the current administration, that might work. But that is old. It's tired. As Kamala says, it's time to turn the page on that. We don't have the luxury to simply vote against Donald Trump coming up in a couple of weeks.
Mark, as you look at the polls, and I put a little stock in the betting markets, I know there's some controversy on that. And I think Mark Halperin, like you, is a smart guy. I think he leans more left, obviously. But if early voting trends continue, he says this election could be over before Election Day. And you've been very outspoken that you think things are swinging Donald Trump's way. Tell us where you see it.
Well, look, I think Donald Trump has an edge. I would not count Kamala Harris out at this point. But I think he's got an edge because he's winning on all the major issues. People are unhappy, as you showed with Barack Obama's comments, and she's winning on the economy, she's winning on immigration, she's winning on crime, and winning by large margins he's winning on large margins of who could do a better job to end the Ukraine and Israel. And that means foreign affairs and domestic policy are in his camp. I think he's had some very strong issues in swing states, doing the auto workers in Michigan, fracking in Pennsylvania, and no tax on tips in Nevada. I think it's been a clever campaign in all those respects. And so I think he's got the edge. And most importantly, I think Republicans were losing about 2 points by counting on their vote to show up on Election Day, because only about 90% of voters who plan to vote on Election Day wind up there. And the fact they're equalizing that is probably worth 1 to 2 points, particularly in these swing states.
That's an important analysis. 79%, I'll add to that, Steve and Miller, think that the country is now headed in the wrong direction, on top of Donald Trump being right on the issues and in line with the American people, and a peace and prosperity drive elections. That would give him the advantage, in my view. But to me, the closing argument of calling Donald Trump names just proves my point. They don't have a record of success to run on. Your thoughts?
It's the same pathetic, desperate hoaxing, vile defamation and slander that we've seen. But the American people are not buying it, and that is reflected in poll after poll after poll. And as Mark said, it's because President Trump is winning on the issues, his massive edge on tackling inflation and making the economy work for American workers, his massive edge on foreign policy, his colossal edge on the border invasion and the immigration disaster, issue after issue. And as you mentioned, 8 in 10 Americans think that the Biden-Harris administration has put America on the wrong track. And then look at the quality of the campaign, Sean. Have we ever seen such a series of blunders as we've seen from Kamala in recent days and weeks? Saying that people who believe in Jesus are not welcome at her rallies, skipping the Al Smith dinner, then sending in an anti-Catholic video mocking and denigrating Catholics, then doing a national TV interview, the clip you just played, where she's swearing to the American people that Joe Biden's brain is in perfect top-functioning form? What, and then having that town hall where somebody tried to ask a question and they said, no, we don't let anyone ask questions that haven't been pre-selected here? I mean, one time after another, her campaign has had catastrophic, huge, embarrassing humiliations. And what about President Trump? Masterstroke after masterstroke, from the Al Smith dinner to the shift at McDonald's to the no tax on tips, again, the market talked about, that's winning over service workers, to getting the endorsement of the rank-and-file Teamsters, something no Republican has ever done before, and, of course, the endorsement of the National Border Patrol Union. Donald Trump's campaign is on rocket fuel. Kamala's campaign really is just it's a joke at this point.
Well, and she's sending out surrogates. You mentioned Gretchen Whitmer, and basically not doing the right thing when it comes to Holy Communion, or Barack Obama lecturing African-American men about being sexist, or Bill Clinton acknowledging Laken Riley would probably be alive if we vet all these illegal immigrants. Not helping her. All right, appreciate you all. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.